Hello everyone, how are you? I am just on my way home after having been to the dentist and hygienist, something I do every 6 months, especially since going through the menopause. I've found that my hormone levels are definitely impacting my gums and lots of other parts of my body, and so it's important to go every 6 months. I guess I'm coming on for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like I want to talk about the importance of trauma-informed care in the clinical and medical world. Trauma-informed principles, in my opinion, should be used everywhere and in every setting, from restaurants to GP practices to dentist practices to social work departments, and it is so important. And when I'm talking about trauma-informed principles, I'm talking about choice, empowerment, collaboration, and much more. And I guess why I'm coming on is this has been a topic that has come up a lot recently. I've been discussing in great detail with a lot of fellow professionals and friends as well. A lot of people who've experienced, unfortunately, not the best care, whether it's through their GP or at hospitals or in other situations. And I personally just feel that that's not acceptable these days anymore, particularly in Scotland, where we're wanting to be a trauma-informed nation. So why I'm coming on is I'm really fortunate. I do apologise for any background noise. There's clearly some work being done nearby. I wanted to come on because I'm really fortunate that I have both a GP and a dentist who are incredibly supportive, incredibly helpful. They take time to allow me to express my needs. I feel heard, I feel witnessed, I feel that I get the care and support that I need, and it's not always easy. So having gone to the dentist today, I've mentioned before that I have a real phobia when it comes to dentists. This is due to some trauma that I've experienced in dental work many years ago. And as we know, the mind and the body remembers, and so this is something that I have to navigate every time I go to the dentist, and it's a whole thing. Like, I need to somatically and mentally really prepare myself, ground myself. I take beads with me and crystals that I can hold on to. I have a soundtrack that I listen to. So that's all the bits that I am in control of. I work with my breath really actively in those moments as well. And then I'm very fortunate that I have a dentist and a hygienist that completely make me feel safe. Safety is key. I trust them. They're aware of my history. They're aware of my fear and my concern. They're always informing me throughout what's about to happen. They're always really clear to say, you're in control, you're in choice, stick your hand up if you need a break. They use certain equipment that they know isn't as activating for me. And there's just this true sense of being held, being safe, and being in choice. And I've kind of said to my dentist, he can never retire because he's so amazing. And it's such a gift to have someone like that, because as distressing as it is for me, and I say distressing because it really is, to go to the dentist, and very dysregulating, I also know that I'm going to be held, and I know that I'm in choice, and that makes such a difference. And so I'm noticing that I've just left the appointment and the dysregulation is not that intense. I've managed to get back into my window of tolerance very quickly. I've had the work done. It wasn't very pleasant, but it needed to be done, and all is well. And then with my GP, I have the same thing. I have a GP that has been incredibly supportive on my perimenopause and menopause journey, and with many other things, who listens to me and makes me feel normal and human, who considers lots of different supports and options for me, who doesn't assume anything, who takes the time for me as well. I never feel hugely rushed or pressured. And they're another one that can never leave or retire. They're just gold. And again, I always feel very safe and supported. And I guess this is the key thing when it comes to trauma-informed practice. It is creating a a safe enough container. I say safe enough because we don't really know what safety means for that person. We don't always know what they've been through or their trauma story or anything else. And so it's about creating a safe enough container. Choice is key, collaboration is key, information is key, knowledge is key. And allowing the person to feel like you see them, you witness them, and you're trying to work with them and their needs. Now, we're all so incredibly diverse and different, so this is not an easy thing to do. And I know myself as a professional, it's something I'm constantly needing to work on and navigate, whether it's in my social work job, in community justice, in that therapeutic team that I work in, or whether it's working with my business car. It's really something that I think is essential, really. And that's why I guess I'm so passionate about trauma-informed practice. And particularly in the clinical and medical world, I'm constantly and continuously disappointed to hear other people's stories of not feeling empowered, of not feeling seen, of not feeling witnessed, of not feeling they can advocate for themselves, or feeling like they're being gaslit or not understood, not being supported. This is not acceptable. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling to get diagnoses for things, that are struggling with phobias, that is stopping them from getting the care and support that they need because they don't feel safe enough. And we need to challenge that actively. So, my message is, let us all take responsibility if we're professionals in the roles that we have. Let us try and empower the people that we work with, including our colleagues, by the way, to talk and normalize secondary trauma, depending on the role that you're in. I see that in social work and in my co-work as well. I have to be really careful about vicarious trauma and that trauma and how it impacts me. Be aware of our own activations and triggers. Be aware of our own trauma experiences, our own stories. Be aware of what puts us out of our window of tolerance. And if you're new to the window of tolerance, just Google it, have a look on YouTube. There's tons of stuff. Be aware of our nervous system and what it needs and what's helpful moment to moment, because that can change all the time. One day it's fine, one day it's not. One moment it's fine, one moment it's not. And then I guess for our clients, the key thing is communication. Encourage them to share with you what they need. Encourage them to share when something isn't working for them, or they don't like something, or they want to try something different, or they have feedback for you. Encourage them to question you. Offer them information. Share as much knowledge as you can so they can make informed decisions, so that they know what to expect, especially if you're doing a practice with them. Think about the language that you use. Don't assume that everyone is safe and everyone is fine. You don't know that. Yeah. So encourage choice, promote empowerment, work collaboratively with people, communicate, even yourself, communicate, be open, have discussions. Don't be afraid to ask those difficult questions. My experience is that I have felt empowered when I have more choice. I feel that I have more knowledge, and I feel that I feel safe enough and empowered enough to give my opinion, to be assertive, and not then feel shamed for that or feel guilty about it, but feel like I'm actually being heard. And also I would want my clients to feel that way. So there we go. I just thought I'd really come on and share that message because I think it's really important, and I'm hearing about all these kind of things. As I said, recently I'm getting a lot of people sharing really challenging moments they're having when they're going to the hospital, when they're seeing a new medical professional, when they're seeing a therapist, when they're working with social work, teachers, colleagues. We all need to take responsibility and make this world more trauma-informed, more trauma-aware. Yeah, it's really important, and it's not an easy thing to do. And I'm constantly having to learn as well. And I make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. And I've really been reflecting recently as well, and I think I shared this, that I'd like to change a few things in the way I approach my workshops and my work, and just, yeah, add even more opportunity for questions, for feedback, for me to really consider what language am I using, how am I working, what can I do differently. We need to keep accountable as professionals, it's key. And I think other professionals should be held accountable as well. there we go. So that is my quick share. I hope you're well. I hope you're taking care. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. It's a really big topic. I also know there is a lack of resources in the general services that are available for the community, whether it's community services or clinical medical services. There's a lack of resources, which means there's a lack of funding for training, for I guess for staff also having more time with their clients and things like that. But again, that's something we need to, as a society and as a system, we need to address. But the one thing, and I think that's kind of above all of us in many ways, but the one thing we can do is be accountable for our own needs and expect other professionals to be accountable for their approach and their work that they do. So there we go. That is my share today. Again, I really would love to hear your thoughts. I hope you're all well. It's just started raining. Luckily, I took an umbrella with me. I'm going to go back to work. Wishing you all a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. If you don't know me, my name is Corey. I am based in the heart of Edinburgh in Scotland. And I'm the face of Coa, my business, and Co Unplugged, the podcast. Take care, people.